Hey Cheese Nation, and welcome back to my kitchen, where anything in cheese is possible. Today we're going all the way to Point Reyes Station out in California to talk about Cowgirl Creamery's Red Hawk. This is a beautiful cheese. I've been in love with it for a long time. Now, Cowgirl Creamery was started by Sue Conley and Peggy Smith several years ago. They both were out on the West Coast and both have been in the restaurant business for a while, working with grocery. And then they started a dairy. And as legend has it, one day they were standing outside their barn and two ladies rode up on horseback and they hitched their horses to the bike rack that was outside, and the ladies went in to go grocery shopping. Now, Sue and Peggy just so happened to have a friend in town who made a comment like, well, we're living in the Wild West out here. So Peggy said, well, I guess that means we're cowgirls, and this is Cowgirl Creamery. I think that's a pretty cute little story. But from there, of course, a legend was made, a legend was born, and they make wonderful cheeses that have been enjoyed by true American artisan cheese lovers for at least a couple of decades. So this happens to be Red Hawk. Now, Red Hawk, like all the rest of their cheeses, comes from organic cow's milk. So they source beautiful cow's milk from neighboring farms nearby to make their cheeses. What makes Red Hawk special and a little different, besides being organic, is that it's a triple creme cow's milk, which means that cream has been added to the milk before the cheese making process to make it higher in fat content and more buttery and more luscious. It's kind of awesome. But if that wasn't enough, they've taken it an extra step where they wash this cheese. Now, when you hear the term wash rind cheese, you're gonna notice a couple of things about that cheese. Number one, the rind is gonna have a little bit of an orange hue to it, have a little bit of orange color. But the most notable difference than any other cheese is the fact that it's a little stanky. We refer to wash rind cheeses as stinky cheeses, and that's okay. That's what it's supposed to happen. When washing cheeses for wash rind cheeses, what you're trying to do is encourage bacterial growth. So on this particular cheese, as many wash rinds, you're gonna have bee linens. That's what we call it in the cheese world, that grows on the outside. Bacteria are growing, emitting this beautiful stinky smell, and to help ripen that cheese. Excellent. So enough talking about this cheese. I wanna dig right on into it. So I'm gonna give this just a little slice, and you'll see that, you know, it being wash rind, again, it's still a soft ripened cheese, but it has a beautiful looking texture to it. I can start to see a bit of a cream line come around that rind. Unctuous, buttery, pervasive. Those are just a few words that come to mind. Now, when eating this cheese, because it's a triple creme and it has a higher butter fat, it melts in your mouth like butter. It is absolutely amazing. And a true nature of a wash rind cheese, an example like this, is that the cheese I don't find is ever quite as strong in taste as it is strong in smell. So don't ever be fooled by that. Some of you that's never tried a wash rind, it's okay, give it a shot. It tastes much milder than the smell lets on. So for a pairing, again, because this is a softer cheese, we've got here from Rustic Bakery, their sourdough crisp flatbread. I think it's nice because what we want to do here is add just a little bit of texture, and the flatbread is also going to add more buttery notes to the butter flavor in the cheese because it's a cracker. But that's all words until we try it. I was right yet again. It's hard to be wrong when you're me. But this cracker worked with the cheese as far as pulling back some of that unctuous, stinky note to it for being a wash rind, and added a lot of more butter notes. Absolutely nice, beautiful. So now you need to check out what's on my plate in front of me. This lovely pile of meat. Or you could say pile o' meat, whatever you want, that's fine. But this is prosciutto di Parma. So this is a cured ham from Italy that's been aged about 2 years generally. And it's gonna have a rich nuttiness to it. By itself, of course, I mean, I've eaten it many times. I think it's a great ham, very typical to see in charcuterie plates, charcuterie boards, as well as paired with cheese. But we need to try this cheese with the prosciutto, just to see how this meaty, bacony flavor pairs up with this stinky butteriness of this cheese. So I'm gonna just bite one and bite the other instead of put it together. Oh, prosciutto is so nice. Try a little bit with the cheese. That is harmony. Oh my goodness. Because also the ham has a little bit of a saltiness to it. Of course, because it's been cured with salt packed all around it. And I find that it's really hitting that butter and taking it up to notes of really like salted butter. And it really pulls that wash rind flavor almost completely out. That is a sublime pairing. Oh my gosh. Now I've got all this cheese and meat and cracker in my mouth. I need something to wash it down with. So I've got a milk stout, something that I think is gonna pair well with the cheese, but I'm gonna take a little drink before I dig back down in that cheese. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. So let's see with this milk stout, we're gonna have a little bit more kind of like chocolate notes to it. So this is kind of, I'm gonna see how this works. Now this pairing, I feel like does a little bit of the opposite than the other two, where I feel like this milk stout is actually bringing up the flavor of the cheese. So instead of pulling down the stinky notes of the way the cheese smells, this is kind of really bringing it up a little bit. So now let's try all three before we head out. And here I'm just gonna make a nice little Lunchable where I've got a cracker and the cheese and the meat all stacked up. Number one, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's on point. And then to wash it down with that milk stout, it's like a carousel of flavors. Oh my gosh, you've got the meatiness of the meat with the salt blending in with the grassy kind of butter notes of the cheese with the chocolate of the stout. That is an amazing pairing. So thank you again for joining me in my kitchen today. As always, check out the links below for more information about all these beautiful products. And please don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you like it. I hope you liked it. Also leave a comment. I'm begging for comments. Please interact. Let me know if you like this pairing or if you would suggest something else. And if you happen to try this pairing and take a picture and put it up on the social media, please use that hashtag Nathan's Cheese Kitchen. And that way we can kind of interact and I can see what you're doing. And don't forget as well, there's a little bell icon. Hit that little icon down there and you'll get a notification every time I put a new video out. It's been so good spending time with you today. I hope you have a great afternoon.